let's keep it pushing in the NFC West. A big win for the LA Rams. They kind of re-announced themselves, I guess is what I'll say. You know, they're on a 3-game winning streak, and, you know, beating Arizona is one thing, but hanging 36 points on Cleveland and really convincingly beating a playoff caliber team, I think it's another kind of statement. I feel like when we talk about the Rams, I think we're all pretty familiar with Puka Nacua and Matthew Stafford and Cooper Kupp. I do want to talk about the Rams defense, though, because all of a sudden you look at it, over the last 4 or 5 games, they're allowing 17 points per game. And I'm just curious, you know, Raheem Morris's group, we know about Aaron Donald, but what else or who else is stepping up on this Rams defense that's got them playing so well?
Yeah, some young guys on the defensive line are playing well for them. Kobe Turner next to Aaron Donald inside, and then I'm blanking on his first name, but Young, their defensive end,
Byron
rookie,
Young,
has played well for them. Byron Young, thanks for helping me out there. He's done a nice job off the edge. And then having John Johnson back in the secondary, partnering with Fuller, those guys played together a couple years ago and were a nice partnership. And so it kind of solidifies their back end defensively. Witherspoon is doing a good job at corner for them and kind of emerging as a playmaker. Kobe Durant is still a guy that gets it done at the slot. Obviously, Ernest Jones in the middle has done a nice job. Is their leading tackler. Has kind of stepped up with Bobby Wagner now in Seattle. So it's a bunch of different young guys, along with obviously Aaron Donald, that's leading that defense and making a lot of plays and kind of making a nice complement to what they can do on offense. The other thing with the Rams is, again, I kind of thought that they were going to be better than maybe people nationally thought they were, because I have so much respect for Sean McVay as a coach. He really knows what he's doing and does a great job of relating with players, is good schematically. And I think he's just kind of been rejuvenated after going through that 5-12 season last year and then kind of figuring out whether or not he really wanted to coach. You know, he brings up joy all the time and wanting to have fun while obviously, you know, being productive and doing a good job with the X's and O's. And he seems to be enjoying coaching this group. And so whenever you talk to him, he's just kind of lights up, you know, when he talks about, you know, how this team is done. At 6-6, this is a scary team if they get in the postseason. And I say that because this isn't a team that, hey, you know, we kind of made it to playoffs. That's cute. And they're going to be one and done. You're talking about guys that have rings. You know, when you talk about Matthew Stafford, Aaron Donald, Cooper Kupp, they've been in big situations and won games. And you talk about the Niners, they play the Niners tough, you know, just because they know each other so well. When you talk about Shanahan and McVay. So if you're the Niners and you don't get that top seed, and you're the number 2 seed and you have to host Los Angeles, I mean, that's kind of tough for a first round game.
We are getting a little, it's too hard to project that, but the season finale, yeah, it's Rams at Niners there to wrap up the season. I seem to recall that being the circumstance in 2021, and it was a preview for a hell of an NFC Championship game. So, like I said, getting a little premature, but I mean, it has been a really fun month for this Rams team. And you kind of just touched on it, but I mean, like, and you know, I should have talked to you back in August, man, because I'll be honest, it was such a slog to watch the Rams because they were so beat up last year. It was easy to forget how much talent is really there. So regardless of where they go here over the next 4 or 5 games, what do you think the mood is in the Rams building about just how quickly they've been able to bounce back? And all of a sudden, you know, regardless of where they go in 2023, the future looks fairly bright for the Rams, I think.
They're actually going to have a first round pick next year.
Yeah.
We'll see if they actually make it or if they just go with the, you know, F those picks and do something different. Hopefully they make a pick and maybe get a quarterback, you know, with Matthew Stafford getting a little bit up there in years. I think the mood is good and the energy is good because of what they're able to accomplish. And it's everything they kind of talked about going into it, you know, kind of resetting, you know, getting their cap straight, which was that, you know, they got rid of a bunch of players, going young, you know, 14 picks in last year's draft, NFL high, and then developing those guys and having those guys come and play significant roles this season. It's been interesting to watch these rookies evolve. Puka Nacua is kind of the face of those rookies because of everything that he's done. But there's been a bunch of other guys, and we've kind of talked about them on the defense side of the ball that have emerged and made plays. And so they're no longer rookies. It's the end of the season, and then they're going to have a chance to continue to add in the off season. And so they've kind of done what the Seahawks did last year. They went young. They did a great job in the draft and bringing guys in. They developed maybe quicker than expectations outside of the organization, and now they really have an opportunity to seize on that in the offseason and continue to build on it, and again kind of put themselves back into being a playoff contender a lot quicker than people nationally thought.